So, what's really behind the immigration job crisis? We've all heard the claims. Immigrants are taking our jobs. But is that really true? Are they the ones driving down wages and making it harder for native workers to find decent work? Or is there something deeper at play? Who truly benefits from this division of the working class between native and immigrant workers? And why do some politicians and media outlets keep pointing fingers at those who are just trying to survive? In this video, we're going to uncover the real forces behind the so-called immigrant job crisis and explore how the system is rigged to exploit all workers, immigrant and native alike. When immigrants arrive in developed countries, they often do so with little more than the clothes on their backs and the hope for a better life. They've left behind war, poverty, and instability, and they're desperate to find work, any work, to support their families. Because of this desperation, they're often forced into taking low-paying jobs, grueling jobs, positions that native workers accustomed to a higher standard of living typically avoid. These jobs include roles like janitors, housekeepers, and cashiers, jobs that are vital but poorly paid and are socially looked down upon. Let's be clear, immigrants aren't stealing these jobs. They're being forced into the most vulnerable positions in the labor market because they have fewer options. This situation is exactly what the capitalist system is designed to exploit. Businesses, especially large multinational corporations, are always looking for ways to maximize their profits. One way they do this is by hiring workers who are willing to accept lower wages and fewer benefits because they're desperate. And who's more desperate than someone who's just arrived in a new country with nothing? This phenomena of immigrants taking low-wage jobs ties directly into a concept we discussed in a previous video, the Reserve Army of Labor. If you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend checking it out after this one for a deeper dive. But to put it simply, the Reserve Army of Labor refers to the surplus of workers, unemployed or underemployed, who are always available for work when the capitalist class needs them. Immigrants, especially those who are undocumented or struggling, make up a significant part of this reserve army. Their vulnerability makes them attractive to employers who want to cut costs. By paying these workers less, companies can maximize their profits. But this isn't just bad for immigrants, it's bad for all of the working class. When companies get away with paying immigrants low wages, it puts downward pressure on wages across the board. This means native workers also see their pay stagnate or even decline as employers exploit their reserve army of labor. But here's where it gets complicated. While capitalists exploit immigrants, they also support policies that vilify, deport, and even openly call for the elimination of immigrants. So you might be asking yourself, why would capitalists want to harm the very workers they rely on to make themselves even richer? Isn't this just shooting themselves in the foot? Clearly something doesn't add up. The truth is, many capitalists are not just profit-driven. They're also driven by the same racist, white supremacist, and sexist ideals that the far-right parties have. They support policies that demonize immigrants because they genuinely believe in those ideas too. They see immigrants as subhuman and therefore easier to exploit. This racist mindset makes it easy for them to justify the exploitation of immigrant labor because it also fuels their desire to make a pure, heteronormative, white Christian society by any means necessary. Imagine a Venn diagram. On one side, you have capitalists who want to exploit cheap labor. On the other side, you have far-right politicians who push their fascist agendas. The overlap between those two groups is much bigger than most people realize. Many far-right politicians are themselves capitalists or closely tied to the capitalist class. They exploit workers, both immigrant and native, to increase their wealth while using racist and xenophobic rhetoric to keep the working class divided and distracted. After the capitalists have exploited immigrants to the point of utter degradation and the far-right parties are in control and have done away with democracy, workers' rights, and have expelled or even eliminated immigrants, what happens next? The remaining jobs, now stripped of all dignity, benefits, and decent pay, are handed over to the remaining working class. A working class that will be reduced to slaves to serve a new ruling class consisting of the tech billionaires that are part of and fund the far-right parties today. Unfortunately, we are already very much living through the first stage of this techno-feudal world. A world governed by a system we call techno-feudalism, where a handful of ultra-wealthy individuals control every aspect of society like digital kings, unrestrained by democracy or workers' rights. Again, this is a future where the working class is reduced to servitude with no power or autonomy, meaning that they no longer need immigrants for cheap labor. Capitalists like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and especially Peter Thiel, just to name a few, are not just seeking wealth, they're seeking absolute control. So, are immigrants really the problem? The answer is a resounding no. Immigrants aren't stealing jobs, they're being exploited just like the rest of the working class, often even more so. The real culprits are the capitalists who manipulate the labor market, driving down wages and dividing the working class with their racist and xenophobic beliefs. The capitalist class doesn't care about democracy, freedom, or even the well-being of native workers. They care about control. The more they can divide us, the easier it is for them to exploit us. This is why we must reject the lies that pit workers against workers and instead focus on the true enemy, the capitalist system that exploits us all. All workers are victims of this system, and it's only by standing together that we can challenge the power of the capitalist class. In the end, it's not about us versus them. It's about all of us, the working class, fighting against a system that sees us as nothing more than tools for profit. If we allow ourselves to be divided, we only strengthen the hands of those who wish to enslave us. But united, we can demand justice, equality, and a future where every person, regardless of their background, is valued and respected. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep up with our latest content, make sure to hit the subscribe button and also to join the Politdigm Discord server where you can be part of our community. There you can chat with us, share your ideas, ask questions, and explore our curated playlists designed to help you dive deeper into important topics. For those interested in getting even more involved, supporting us on Patreon gives you access to exclusive content and additional parts of our Discord. And if you're looking for other ways to support or want to learn more about what we do, visit our website for more information. Of course, don't forget to drop a comment with questions you would like us to cover. Anyways, good studies, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.